All right, everyone, a Swedish scientist is now doing the unthinkable, which is proposing that we eat the dead, our own human dead, in order to stop wasting resources and help combat climate change. While it technically could be kind of effective, you're saving resources on embalming and land on burying people, I guess. It's not going to make a big impact, number one, if you believe in climate change at all. I happen to believe in it, I just don't grant it as entirely man-made. I also think it's self-limiting, and time will prove me correct on this. Human impact is not going to destroy the world. We may destroy ourselves, but we're not fucking the planet. The planet will fuck us instead. We just think that we're on the giving end of this particular anal gangbang. No, the world's not gonna take it up the ass. The world's gonna give it up the ass. Nice big meaty juicy injection right inside of the human race, exploding our fucking skulls. Here's what'll happen. If you were to make a serious suggestion at the government level, hey, we should take the dead. I guess you'd have to remove the nervous tissue because of prions. And then we're gonna like grind up grandma and put her in your steak or something as filler. It wouldn't have any real impact other than it would piss people off, because most people traditionally they have a reverence for human remains. I know there are some, like I guess Polynesian cultures or something. Don't the people of Papua New Guinea eat the dead? Certain groups there, don't they like ritually cannibalize their dead relatives? They think it's disrespectful to just leave them lying around, so they boil and eat them, and they get some sort of disease because they eat the brain tissue. It's like, remember when that goofball from CNN was like with the Agori there, and he was eating like roasted human brain? And it's like the idea, it's not even so much the gross factor, it's just, it's medically understood that is a terrible fucking idea. Of course, he's working with CNN, so if he gets prions and his brain starts to melt, nobody will notice for a while. He'll be deathly ill before anyone notices his insanity, because he's fucking working for CNN. If you think climate change is real, I'm sorry, but drastic action will be needed. If you think it's real, think about it this way. According to climate scientists, the current era of global warming begins with the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, or shortly thereafter. We're talking the mid to late 1800s. The human population of this world alone, let's say we got rid of every bit of industry. No more coal, no more oil, no fossil fuels. We just basically putter around on our lawns and grow our food. We're total agrarian societies. Somehow the whole world decides to lay down the steam shovel and go back to the way things were in the 1700s. Just the exploitation of resources necessary for base level survival, food and basic shelter, in such a situation would produce, you'd have to deforest more of the arable surface of the world. You think the Green Mountain National Forest would exist? No, you'd have to have people would have to pile up into the foothills there and take the trees down to make their cabins and then grow their food. There'd be nowhere else to do it. You wouldn't have mass irrigation projects anymore, now would you? Oh, but we'll just run everything on solar cells. Yeah, good luck waiting the 20 or 30 years necessary. You're telling me the climate change tipping point's basically already been passed. Some scientists think we're past the point of no return. Every time, by the way, we pass the point of no return, they think up a new one and gaslight the population on their old predictions. Because if that's true, we already passed it like 5 times. We passed it for the last 20 years. So we're already fucked. We're already dead. We're in hell. Anyway, you would have to reduce the human population substantially too, if you're going to have that kind of less industrial or pre-industrial society. Here, the problem is that the only way to achieve climate stability under such a model would be to like mass sterilize 90% of the world and go back to the city-state model, where we'd have vast stretches. I mean, like we would have to leave a couple of continents completely uninhabited, kill off even the native people there, and just leave them totally empty of all human contact. So just pick a couple at random, depopulate them entirely, sterilize everyone else, reduce the population to comfort capacity, and then live in only semi-industrialized little city-states with a lot of solar panels. You can think of that as retro-futuristic or whatever, dystopian, utopian, whatever you decide to make it, but that's the only way we would combat it. The idea that eating bugs, or eating more soy, or giving up your chicken dinner is going to solve the problem is ludicrous. And any scientist who makes a suggestion like this and makes it seriously shouldn't be allowed to be a scientist anymore. They should be stripped of their accreditation, whatever it happens to be. What kind of scientist is he? Does he work for Kook Institute? And then he makes the suggestion, I guess. Well, we have to overcome the gross factor. We have to trick people into eating human meat and teach them that governments have to teach their people that it's okay to eat the dead. Well, it's not going to work. People at some point would probably revolt if you tried that. There are certain things that human biology precludes. That's one of those things. It's like, why isn't incest very common? Because our biology tends to select against it. It tends to select against consuming the dead because they're dead for a reason. It could be disease related. That could be a problem. You can cause, one little bit of nervous tissue is still in the soil, and all of a sudden a bunch of people get cognitive decline, and then they die, and then of course, if it happens again, it gets even worse with each successive food generation. Also, I would think this would tend to render people to objects. I would think it would tend to breed sociopathy within the population. Don't we have enough social problems? Here's what you do. Here's my suggestion for climate change. Chemtrails to sterilize 99% of the world's population, and in some cases 100%. Depopulate the human world. You don't even have to kill anybody. And then live like a bunch of animals, because that's basically what we'd have to do. Or we could do what I really want to do, which is ignore the fucking issue, because trust me, nature's very good at giving feedback. And if we fuck the world too much, it'll destroy us. The world's still there, nature's still there, there'll still be oxen and goats and dogs and cute chickens, all of the wonderful things that are in this world will be there. It's just that man will be gone. Well, who fucking cares? There'll be no one left to mourn our loss. And if there are some human survivors, maybe, they'll replicate or something. By the way, I'm not seriously suggesting that we sterilize everybody, although, a world, devoid of 99% of the morons out there might be a nice place. It'd be kind of difficult to grow on YouTube when most people are dead. Just saying. But yeah, there are some basic steps. Do you think that this would even have a measurable impact, by the way, on emissions? It might even raise them, like you still have to process the meat off and stuff. I thought we were supposed to go vegan or eat bugs and mushroom burgers and shit. It would be better, why don't we teach the suburbanites to grow gardens instead of monocultured lawns and bring the butterflies back? Why don't we get rid of some of the worthless irrigation projects and start eating locally instead of worrying about having to import everything we fucking eat? Like, half the stuff I eat's not from anywhere within 500 miles of here. It's totally inefficient, it doesn't make fucking sense. Why don't we lean more heavily, instead of trying to be deindustrialized, why don't we raise efficiency? As efficiency goes up, you need less fuel. Emissions are already declining in most parts of the West. Why don't we teach people how to plant trees? China's doing that when the fucking commies are taking things more seriously than our government. And apparently Sweden is way out in La La Land. Oh, we're just going to eat the dead. Good luck. Good luck getting people to adapt to that lifestyle. What you'll have to do is grind up the dead bodies and put it in their food surreptitiously. That's how you get a civil war. That's about all. Peace out.